So guys, today we will talk about API. API is a part of later on, like today's introduction part. We will talk for 2 hours about API, how we will use, how it's used, and we will talk today about structure of the modern web applications. So guys, all of you knows that modern web applications kind of split it on two parts. They have front end and they have a back end. So guys, over here I have a very good slide. I had a presentation like 2 years, even 3 years ago about front end and back end, and kind of here is a very good picture, front end and back end. So we can say that front end is a user-facing part. This is an interface, and back end is not as beautiful, but it's very powerful. So on the what programming stack we have on the front end and on the back end. So if we're talking about browser applications, on the front end we have like mostly different kind of JavaScript. We're talking about React.js, AngularJS, or like Vue.js, Backbone.js, Next.js, whatever. JS means JavaScript. On the back end, we have a lot of different languages like Java, C#, Python, Node.js, and others. So backend can be like different. But again, in the front end, we have only JavaScript, because usually front end is opened in the browsers, and browsers are understanding only JavaScript. So guys, this is not very correct, because sometimes we have a different kind of front end. So guys, take a look on this slide. This is kind of very important to understand. So guys, take a look on this. So front end and back end. Front end. Usually web applications like we opening in the browser. For example, I'm talking about any web applications like Udemy or like Amazon or whatever. But also we have some native applications like desktop application, or for example mobile applications. They are front end too. For example, Slack. You know, you can open Slack in the browser, but also you can download a native application for Windows or for the Mac OS or for the Linux. Also, you can download a mobile application for the Android or for the iOS, for the Apple iPhones. So guys, all this stuff is a front end. So again, front end can be opened in the browsers like on computers, tablets, or mobile phones, but also you can download native applications. Listen guys carefully. This is front end, and this is front end. This front end are talking with a single backend. You see here is web API. So guys, web API is kinda a gateway. What's mean web API? Web API, web application program interface. So our UI, front end, UI, user interface, is a user-faced interface of the application. But backend has its own interface. We're calling it Web API. So this is application program interface. Again, what is Web API? Web API is an interface which allow frontend to talk to the backend. So Web API is a part of the backend. It's kinda on the board, it's covering backend. It's an interface of the backend. You should understand. Here is, take a look, guys, how it's working. When we opening browser application, like in the browser, web server sending us some front-end site, and it's loaded to our browser. After that, when it's already loaded to our browser, this front-end part starting to communicate with the Web API. Yes, yes. And Web API, again, this is kinda an API, this is kinda an interface for the backend. So guys, we can have many different kind of front ends. We can have front end in the browser, but also we can have native applications for the Windows, for the Mac, for the Android, for the iPhone. And all these different front ends talking with the single Web API, because Web API giving you application program interface. So interface is kind of a special rules how to communicate with the backend. Next. So let's understand how front-end talking with the backend. This is very interesting. So guys, again, front-end talking with the backend. Front-end is integrated with the backend. Okay, we should understand this. So again, we can split our web applications onto main parts, front-end and back-end. So front-end is very beautiful, user-friendly part, user-faced part. But back-end, it's kind of not very beautiful, but it's very powerful. It's preparing all information for the front-end. So guys, can we see how it happens, this integration? Can we see this communication between front-end and back-end? Yes, we can. So how we can do that? Okay, for that I will open our Chrome browser. So guys, let's open our browser. And for example, let's open Udemy.com. So guys, Udemy is a web application. You can open this site in the browser, but also if you have a mobile phone, you can open application for the Android or for the iPhone, and you can open it in this application. So guys, let's try to see how front-end communicating with the backend. So guys, what happens now? When I open it Udemy.com, my browser connected to their web server and downloaded front-end part to my browser. Now front-end is inside my browser. So let's say front end completely inside my browser. Where is backend? On their servers. Now, if I will ask something in the browser, my frontend, this frontend will make call to the backend. So let's understand one thing. Front end making calls to the backend. Always, we can say almost always. We have some very rare use cases like when WebSockets, for example, when backend can initiate call. But let's say that in 100% of time, front end initiate a call. So guys, first of all, we should understand one thing. Front end communicates with the backend by using a call. So front end makes calls to the backend. Front end making calls to the backend. Okay? Front end making calls to the web API. Always, let's say always call are initiated by the front end. Okay, how I can see this call? So in the browser, let's open these three dots and let's open more tools. And here is, let's open developer tools. So guys, we already opened it with developers tools and used elements. Now we will open network. Okay. And over here, guys, in the network, please choose this filter, fetch, XHR and fetch. So this filter will filter only calls from the web API, from the front end to the web API. So using this button, I will clear all my call history. Now, let's make a very simple call from the front end to the back end. Let's initiate a call. Okay, so in order to do that, let's enter two letters, G and A. I want to search for Java. And you see, guys, when I entered two letters, I have a drop down. Let's take a look on this drop down. I have 12 lines in this drop down. So first 4 with the zoom glass. This is a search suggestions. Next 4 are course suggestions. So here is Udemy suggest us course with starting with the G, J, A. And last 4 are authors or people or whatever. So we have 12 results. 4 are search suggestions, 4 are course suggestions, and 4 are people suggestions. Okay? So these results come from the backend after I entered these two letters. So guys, let's find this call. And it's over here. Okay, let's open this call and I will do it wider. Let's open headers. So guys, calls. Again, calls are made always by frontend to the web API. Okay. Calls are made to the endpoint. We're making calls to the endpoint. Okay, you should understand again. Front end making call to the endpoint. What is endpoint? Okay, web API has many endpoints. We should understand that. Web API have many endpoints. And front end always making call to one of these endpoints. So what is endpoint? Endpoint is kind of an address. So take a look. We have URL and we have a method. So two things. What is endpoint? Endpoint consists from the two parts, URL, or sometimes we calling it URI, and method. Just URL, it's not an endpoint. Endpoint is method plus URL. Okay, what is URL? So this is a URL. You see, I selected URL, Universal Resource Locator. Okay, and we have a method, get. So what methods we have? Okay, in order to understand conceptions of the method, we should understand conception of the CRUD. What means CRUD in the data science? What means CRUD? So guys, idea is next. We can do 4 different operations with any information. So we can create information, we can read information, we can update information, and we can delete information. For example, user. We can create a user, we can read the user, so get this user information, read it. We can update user, for example, we can update phone number or whatever. Or we can delete user. Or, for example, we have a database with the books. We can add book to the database or create. We can receive information about the book. We can update the book. For example, we can update book status. Is it sold or whatever? And we can delete. Okay? This is conception of the CRUD. But when we're talking about the CRUD in context of the HTTP calls, we have next stuff. We can say we have this conception. So take a look, for example, here. In like this is a CRUD tables. For example, when we creating information in like if we're talking about SQL server, we're using insert. But when we're creating information in context of API, we're talking about post. Put is not very correct. When we retrieving information, we reading information. In context of SQL, we're talking about select. And in context of the web or HTTP, we're calling about get. Update. Update is a put or patch, and delete is delete and delete. So guys, this is kind of idea about the methods. When we want to just receive information, we usually using get method. It's not a hard-coded rule. It's kind of very soft rule. We can use post for any call or put for any call, but better to use different methods. Okay? So guys, when we're talking about this method get, we should think that when we're using method get, we're trying to receive some information. We want to read some information from the backend. Okay? Method get means we want to get information. Okay? But in order to do that, guys, we should understand one thing. Okay, let's do small recap. Front end talking with the backend, front end talking with the web API, making a call. Calls are made to the endpoint. Endpoint consists of two parts, URL and method. Next, every call consists of two main parts, request and response. It's clear, yes? Request, we asking a question, response, we receiving an answer. So, in the call, guys, we requesting some information. And when we receiving this information from backend, this is a response. So guys, every call consists of two parts, request and response. Okay, we should understand we making a request and receiving a response. This is, guys, two parts of any call. So in this call, guys, we already have both request and response. So request is how we asking in this information. We can request information by three different ways, even a little bit more, but let's say about three different ways we can request information. So first, we can ask information using query parameters. Query parameters, yes. This is usually, these query parameters usually coming with the get. So when we're making a get method, we can use query parameters. So query parameters usually is in the, no, query parameters is always in the URL. Always. So guys, let's split our URL on two parts. You see this question mark. On the left side of the question mark is an URL. On the right side is query parameters. So over here we have only one query parameter. Q is equal to JA. If I will scroll down, here is a query string or query parameter. Here is Q is equal to JA. If I will ask something from Google, yes guys, I will ask over here, for example, google.com, and I will search for Java, and I will click enter. Take a look, guys, on the, let me open first Chrome Development Tools, and over here let me open I will do a call, and let me open a search. Take a look, guys. We have a bunch of query parameters. Take a look on the address bar. So http google.com complete search, this is a URL, and here is we have a question mark, and after question mark we have pairs of query parameters. Yes, query parameters coming in pairs. Q is a key, Java is a value. Key value pairs. CP is a key and 0 is a value. Client is a key, desktop blah 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 is a value. XSSI is a key, T is a value. So key value pairs, they are joined by this ampersand sign. So if I will open payload over here, you see all these query parameters over here. So we can have one query parameters, we can have many query parameters, we can have 0 query parameters. So first way to request information is using query string or query parameters. And here is its example over here. For Google, we have multiple query parameters. We're passing that Q is equal to Java, CP is equal to 0, client is equal to this, and so on, and so on, and so on. If I will pass here is like HL English, I can pass like different language, and probably I will get result in the different language. If I will update over here, where is it? T. This is, by the way, a little bit different. Q is equal to, you see here is, this is ampersand, which is connecting results. Okay, whatever. So guys, query parameters is the first way to ask a question, request information. How big, and over here it's very simple. We're passing only one key value pair. Q is equal to JA. Okay? It's very simple, as a very simple question. Okay. Next. Other ways. Not. Response. Where is we getting response? So usually we getting response in the response body. And if I will open over here, you will see a response body. This is, if I will copy it, and I will go to JSON online editor, JSON editor online org, and I will paste it over here, and I will click right and left. I will get a result of my response. Take a look on it. So first of all, guys, this is a JSON object. So we receive it like, guys, listen carefully. We receive it a response, and response is in format of JSON. What means JSON? JSON means JavaScript object notation. So guys, this is a format of the object. It's very native to JavaScript. Why? Because, do you remember my slide about front end? On the front end we have different different frameworks of JavaScript. So guys, usually backend preparing a response in JSON format, because JSON format is very native for JavaScript, is very native to JavaScript. So JavaScript understanding, it's very simple. It's just taking it and using it without any conversion. So JSON is very native to JavaScript. That's why backend sending response in JSON format. So guys, let's do again a step back and let's recap what we learned today. So our application, our web application is split on two parts, front-end and back-end. Front-end can be different. It can be native application for Windows or Mac OS or for Linux. It can be mobile application for Android or iPhone, iOS. It can be a browser application. But backend is single, it's only one. And all these different from front ends communicating with the single backend. It's communicating with the web API, because web API is an interface of the backend. Sometimes we're calling it web API gateway, because it's a gateway. It's a door for the backend, and all these front end asking a web API. So guys, in order to ask something to communicate with the backend, front end making call to the backend. Call is made to the endpoint. Endpoint consists of two parts, URL and method. So usually call consists of two main parts, request and response. In the request we requesting information, in response we getting a response or answer. So guys, nowadays the main format of communication is a JSON. In like 10 years ago it could be XML, but now de facto main way to communicate is a JSON. So because it's very native for the front end, for the JavaScript. Next, we can request information using query parameters. Usually query parameters are used by the get method. Other two kind of requesting information is a path parameters and request body. We can send request in the body. So guys, let's take a look one more time. Call consists of request and response. And here as you see in the Chrome development tools, it's calling a request URL and request method. But guys, these two lines are endpoint. And as a result of the call, we have a status code. So guys, status code is a result of the call. So here is, we have 200. This is very common response. 200 means literally, okay. If you want to get more information, we can ask Google status code. And here is, we have three main groups. So first group is at 200 calls. For example, 200 calls are successful responses. 200 just regular, okay, 201. When you're creating an object, usually you should have at 201. Accepted. No content. But guys, these are implemented by backend engineers. If your backend engineers are very lazy, they can use 200 for everything. If they have more experience, they will give you different responses, depends on your call. Okay, so 200 calls. Successful responses. Other are 400 and 500. So 400, this is a client error responses. For example, 400 is a bad request. So if you're sending something not clear, you can have 400. Not understandable. 401, usually you will get this response if you're sending wrong token or your username and password are not correct. 403, if you don't have a proper permission. You have correct credentials but not proper permissions. And so on. 404, like this is kind of very popular one, resource not found. So if you like making call to the page which not exist, you can get 404 and so on. And other main popular is a 500 errors. This is usually, guys, a server errors. For example, you have some problem with the server, you can have this 500, 501, 502, 504 and so on. Why I'm not mentioning 100 and 300? This is not used in real life, so you will not see them. So 300 is redirecting, 100 is information. It's kind of not used calls. It's not important for us as for QAs. Okay? Now, guys, I'm repeating again and again. This will help you to better understand the topic. Okay, so front end talking to the back end by calls. Calls consist of two parts, request and response. So three ways to ask request: by query parameter, by the path parameter, I will show you later, and by request body. Yes, we can send some information in the request body. What is body, by the way? So guys, take a look. Every call consists of request and response, but request consists of two main parts: headers and body. Body is an optional part. Response consists of two parts: headers and body. Body again is optional part. Body is not required part. It can exist or not. But headers, what is headers, by the way? So headers, guys, usually have some like service information. This information not like used information. This is information for making a call. It's helping about format, it's helping about like permissions, but this is not useful information. This is a service information. All useful informations we keeping in the body. But sometimes, guys, you can have response just in the status code. For example, you have status code 204, which means it's okay. You call is okay. So you do some question and you waiting just okay, this is okay, and you getting 204, this is okay. Questions? Guys, any questions? No questions? Or do you have any questions?
I have a question about the tool that is called header modifier. Is it header related? Is it related to this header, API header or not?
Probably yes. I never heard about this tool, but probably you are correct. Probably it's something about that.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So guys, let's continue. Endpoints. Okay, so don't worry, I said we will come back to the endpoints. Now you will understand. We have today very big lecture, so you will understand everything. So guys, let's talk about the API documentation. This is a very important part. First of all, who is writing this API documentation? Usually backend developers. Who is consuming this web API documentation? Usually front-end engineers, because they need to understand how to ask questions, how receive answers. But before that, guys, take a look on our response. So again, on Udemy site, we entered 2 letters and a call was made. And in the response, we received this object. Let's take a look on this object and let's try and understand. First of all, on the right side, I see a structure of this object, like schema. And you see we have 12 results. 12 results. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So guys, we got 12 results. And this is a same view, it's a different view, but same object. So guys, result number 1, ID 88. What's this? I have no idea. Phrase, Java. Class, search log. Search log. But label, search log, okay, the same. URL, course, search, and if I will hover over first result, guys, if you take a look on the, here is on the bottom, take a look one more time, I will hover over and you see search question mark Q is equal to Java. So guys, in this response, Q is equal to Java, it comes from here. Second one, we have Q is equal to JavaScript. If I will hover over on the second one, take a look on the bottom, Q is equal to JavaScript. Okay. If I will hover over on the third result, Q is equal to Java programming. So take a look. Q is equal to Java plus programming. But this is kind of clear. But guys, take a look. If I will go over here, I see something different. I mean result number 5. And here is class is equal to course and type label is equal to course. So over here it was search log and here is a course. And also I have an image link. If I will copy this image link and I will place it over here and I will click enter, I will have this picture. Yes, you want to see it's bigger? Yes, it is. But guys, if I will open over here, this is this picture. So guys, this picture returned me in the response. So this coming with the response. But take a look, guys. Java new features, Java 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. So guys, this comes in the title too. So if I will scroll down to the last one, take a look to the last result, the class is user and type label is a user. Jaroslav Stedniki. Yeah? Jaroslav Stedniki. And this guy, if I will open this picture, copy it, and I will go over here and paste it here, this guy. And if I will open, this guy is the same guy. So guys, picture of this guy coming from the backend. So this magic happens after I entered 2 letters. Frontend made a call to the backend. Backend returned 12th result and we place it. And frontend parse it with JSON object and pick it up all information from this and place it over here. So guys, if I will open now elements, and in the elements I will search for example, this Jaroslav, and if I will open, you will see that this image of these guys is the same image address like you see 4C1E, 4C1E. So what happens? Front end took this information from the call response and place it to this drop down, and it happens very fast. I entered 2 letters and I already had a drop down with all this information. If it's search log, we have a zoom glass. If it's course, we have a cover of the course. If I have a person, I have a picture of the person. So guys, how front-end works with the backend? Front-end receiving something from the user, in that case, sending to the backend, and backend really fast preparing information. You see guys, it happens really fast. I entered 2 letters and I already have a drop down. Very fast, it's prepared 12 results for search suggestions, 4 course suggestions, and 4 authors, and place it to this drop down. It happens really fast because backend's working really fast and we have all this information. If I will enter 2 different letters, like I will enter like AB, I have absolutely different informations, and again it happens very fast. It's not on the front end, it came from the backend after I entered these 2 letters. Very fast. And front end, so what front end has? Front end has just a table with the 12 empty places. And these results is placed to these empty places. In React, we calling it components. So we have some components on the front end, and these components are empty. But as soon as information coming from backend, front end taking this line and placing to one component, taking this line and placing to different component. And we see all this stuff, this information, instructor, or here is instructor, 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 instructor. Probably we have a different person. For example, if I will open gates, maybe it will be all, okay, all of them are instructors, but maybe it will be different. So this is kind of idea. If I will call about okay, for example, this is instructor, but if okay, I don't know. If it will be course about some person, probably here it will be not instructor, but a famous something. I don't know, but probably. So guys, again, front end just making a good picture. It has components, but in order to fill these components with the real information, we need to make a call to the backend, and backend sending this information and replacing this information to these empty frames. And as a result, we see something very beautiful. Oh, sorry. Like Fi. We have like fiber base, we have like different people, and we have 4 courses. So guys, this is kind of idea, but in order to understand how work with the API, we need to have an API documentation. So guys, some companies selling an API. For example, Yahoo Weather. Yahoo Weather you know guys, you opening almost any web application now. For example, I opening web application for my robot vacuum, and it's showing a temperature outside. How it happens? Do you think my application checking a weather? No. They just making a call to company like Yahoo Weather, and Yahoo Weather returns them a response and giving a weather information. So if I will open Yahoo Weather API documentation, and let's open over here. Here is how to use it, and here is API documentation. And over here a description, how to use it, how to pay to them, and all this stuff, how to use their endpoint. But nowadays guys, we have so-called open API, or we calling it a Swagger. Swagger is a type of API documentation. So let's open pet store Swagger.io. This is guys a visualization of API. So guys, over here you can see how API looks like. Take a look. This is visual API. But this is guys, first of all, this is API documentation. But also guys, we can test it over here in the same place. So every line over here is an endpoint. As I told you before, guys, one endpoint is an URL plus method. So URL plus method. And here is, guys, we have some description. So first of all, this is an API for the learning purpose. This is an API for the pet store. What's mean pet store? They're selling pets. And in order to sell pets, here is an API. You can add pet to the store. You can update pet. You can delete pet. And you can get pet. So CRUD operation, you can do all operations. So this is, guys, an API. This is a visual API. This is a Swagger. So first question, who makes Swagger? Your developers in your company where you will work. They will set up Swagger in your company. And everyone in your company can use it. Usually nobody from outside can use it because it's behind the firewall. It's in the VPN, in the private network, so only company employees can work with the Swagger. But here this is an open Swagger for people who want to understand how it works. And here is a kind of API documentation. So first purpose of the Swagger is a documentation, but also you can try it. So guys, let's create a pet. Let's add a pet to the pet store. And here is, we will open it over here. By the way, I said this is about endpoints. And first call /pet. You can ask me, Bojan, little bit short. It should be HTTP something. Yes, you're right. And over here we have a base URL. So guys, in front of this /pet, you should place HTTPS / petstore swagger.io /v2/pet. So guys, I will add a new pet to the pet store, and I will call try. But before I will call try, take a look what we have. So guys, here is pet objects that needs to be able. So we want to add pet to the store. So that means we need to send information about the pet to the pet store. So guys, what does it mean? Let's imagine we have a website and we want to add a pet. So we entering pet name, like pet pictures, something, and we adding this pet to the pet store. So pet objects so that means that front end will send an object to the backend. So front end will send so when we front end makes a call to the backend, it's sending a request, but it's sending some information, and this information will be in the request body. We're sending it because we want to add, we're sending information to the backend because we want to add this pet to the database. Okay, so guys, try it out. And we need, in order to create a pet, we need to send this payload, this JSON object, this request body to the backend. So I will click try it out. And over here, let's send that ID for the pet will be 1111 for once. And let's say that category. Let's imagine category 22, and this will be a hamster. So hamster is a pet in the end of the day, and I want to find a hamster picture. So images with hamster, I will right click, copy image address, I will paste it over here to check. Okay, I have a hamster picture. Okay, I don't need this. Okay, this is a hamster picture. I will copy it. Now, hamster. What's the name of this hamster? This is a super hamster. Super hamster. This is his name. Super hamster. And I have a photo of this hamster. Control V. And this is a picture of this hamster. So where is it? Okay, it's over here. So you see it's kind of red one or yellow red one. So text one, name red. Okay, status available. Now I will click execute. So guys, when I clicking execute, I'm making a call to the backend and response. Now I can see a response. So take a look. First of all, this is not a response. This is a curl. Curl, it's a command. Using curl, we can make a HTTP call from the command line. So in the Linux or Mac, we can use this command to create a path. This is just a copy of my call in curl format. But over here, guys, you see a request URL. So this URL plus this method is an endpoint. Okay. So over here you see I said post and URL. This is an endpoint. And this is a response body. So this is, guys, a response body. So guys, this is a request body and this is a response body. What does it mean, guys? We send a path to the backend and backend just send us a mirror, just return the same object. It happens very often. But the main thing, we have a 200. This is a status code. Actually, guys, we should have 201. When we're creating object, it should be 201. And personally, me, I would file a bug. Not big priority, but this is a bug. It should be 201. So, guys, I created a path. Now, how I can check if path is created? I can open Postman. And in the Postman, I can check if this path is created. How I can check? And here is I can make, guys, a get call. I can get from this API. So I can make, by the way, get call from here. Here is a get. You see get path by ID. So if I will try and place 1111 and do execute, I will get this path from the backend. This is a response body. So guys, this is a request. And I said, you guys, we can ask information using 3 ways. First is a query parameter. Second is a path parameter. So here is ID 1111. We're sending as a part of the path, as a part of URL. If you will take a look on the endpoint, you see here is a curly braces. And in the curly braces, we're sending this we're replacing this calibrates pet ID by 1111. This is an ID of the pet. So if it's after this question mark, this is a query parameter. But if this is a part of the path of the URL, this is a path parameter. So guys, I can copy this request URL. I will go to my Postman, and in my Postman I will create a new call. I will paste this URL. I will choose method get, and I will do send. And guys, take a look what I get in the response. First of all, status code is 200. I made, what is my endpoint, guys? My endpoint is this URL plus this method. And this 1111 is a part of the URL because this is a path parameter. And here is, you see guys, I have ID 1111, category, this is category 22 hamsters, and this is a picture of the hamster, and this is tag, and status is available. Can I add one more pet to the pet store? Yes, I can. Now I can do this call through the Postman, because guys, Swagger is an API documentation, but also we can try in the Swagger too, but we can do the same call in the Postman, just taking a look to this documentation. So guys, I want to make a call. So I copy this base URL, I go into the Postman, and I do something https petstore swagger.io, method is post. Okay, let's go back to over here, /pet. Okay, v2 /pet. Okay, /pet, and over here I can copy this payload, copy, and I can go back to the Postman, and I can go to the body, paste, choose raw. Over here I can choose, this is a JSON format. I sending body, I sending request body in the JSON format. And here is, I will create a new pet with the ID 2222. And this will be now a snail. And with, what's the name of the snail in SpongeBob? Who remember? Huh, guys? Snail. Snail in the SpongeBob. Gary. Okay. So his name will be Gary. Okay. His name is Gary. Okay. And I want this picture. I like this picture, Gary. Okay. Right click. Copy image address. Let's check. And okay, I will copy this and I will place it to my call. So photo URL, and I will place this one, and this is tag number. It's just, you can use any text, you can spam. And ID, let's be 11, okay, whatever, and I can do send, and I have status 200, and in response I get the same stuff. But how I can check if it's created? So I go to the first call, and over here I will change this URL to 2 because I need to pass ID of the pet, and I will make a get call. So I will, it's a little bit slow. Okay, now it works. We need to wait little time that it's update information, because like it's very big database actually. A lot of people from whole internet using this site for the learning purposes. They trying, so that's why it's sometimes glitching. So guys, we created a snail with the ID 2222 and we made a get call. So we created two animals, one with the ID 1111. This is already somebody updated my hamster by this doggy, because it's already a different one. Oh, now it's hamster. Sometimes it happens, it's glitching again. Actually, we have many servers, and on one server it's doggy, on the second server is hamster, and depends on from which server we're getting result, and they kind of make a replication, so they updating these informations on many servers, but it takes some time, or probably somebody already sent it over at doggy. So now it's doggy, hamster, doggy, hamster. This is a glitch. In real world it shouldn't work like that. So guys, Swagger is a type of documentation, but why I personally like Swagger, it's making a visualization for the API. You can see it by eyes, you can see every endpoint, you can see what kind of the call you should do. So for example, you want to delete a pet. For example, I want to delete a pet. What I should do? They saying you can make a call to the pet slash, and here is you should provide pet ID, but you should choose method delete. That means if I will choose over here method delete, I will delete this pet. If I will click send, I have 200. That means it's deleted. So guys, you see, URL is absolutely the same, but method is different, and this is two different endpoints. They can use the same URL, but different method, and this is two different endpoints. Okay, so I can send, and I have 404. Pet not found, and this is correct response. If pet is not exist, we should get a status code 404, not found. Any questions, guys? As said, is it clear about endpoints? Questions? No, method, not status, method and URL. Endpoint is a method plus URL. Take a look again, one more time, guys. Take a look. This is three different endpoints, but all these three different endpoints has the same URL. This URL is the same, but depends on the method they working in different way. So this one deleting pet, this one getting the pet, this one updating a pet. So same URL, different method, and this is a different endpoint. So over here is the same, different URL, but same method. So guys, let's recap today what we learned today. front end talking with the backend. Front end making calls to the endpoints. Endpoints consist of two main things: URL and method. So every call consists of two parts: request and response. In the request, we requiring for information. In the response, we receiving the answer. So there are three ways how we can require for the information. First is query parameter. Second is a path parameter. So guys, this is a query parameter by status. Over here, we can try, and if I will do, for example, salt, and I will do execute, take a look guys, what happens over here. You see, this is a URL and here is a query parameter. Status is equal to salt. And how we constructing this query? Query consists of two parts: key and value. If I will choose a different pending, I will have same key but different value. If I will choose a variable, I will have same key but different value. Okay, same key status but different value. So key is the same but value can be different. Do you remember our this call? So if I will click different letters over here, like for example AB, for example, over here I will have a different value for the key Q. Okay, this is a first way, using query parameter. Second way is the path parameter. Path parameter is an ID which we sending as a part of the URL. Query parameter is after question mark, but path parameter is a part of URL. And third way to send a query is using a body, request body. We're sending information in the request body. How we getting information? So response can be returned again by the status code. For example, over here, when in the postman we're trying to get a pet which already deleted. For example, I want to get the pet with the ID 111, but this pet is not 222 by, sorry, 111, sorry. Its pet is already deleted. So if I will get a status code 404, this is my response. Pet is deleted. So I can get response by status code. And this is completely okay. Or I can get response in the response body. So in the response body, I can get a response. Now headers. Very interesting thing. Let's talk a little bit about headers. As I talked to you before, headers are in charge for some service information. For example, let me open a Postman. I closed it. So let me open Postman, guys. And in the Postman, take a look. Very interesting thing. I will come to this get call, and over here I will change this header, and I will do accept, and I will change it to the application and XML. So I change it a header. So headers are a service, they keeping a service information. We have request headers and we have response headers. As a QA, I don't care about response headers usually. In very rare you will change, but request headers sometimes are very important. Take a look. And now guys, let's do a 2222 and I will do send. And guys, take a look. I get information in XML format, not in JSON, in XML. This is an XML, guys. It's a different format. Why? Because in my request header I said, listen guys, I need response in the XML. If I will change this XML to JSON, I will and send, I will get response in a JSON object. So guys, this accept header is in charge of the format in which we will get response body. Of course guys, backend should support this. If your backend do not support, you will not get XML, because these headers is read by backend and backend understand which format do you need. But if backend cannot send it in different, like it will not send. For example, if I will choose like text, I don't think I will get in text format. You see, I received an error 500 because it's not supports a text format. That's why. If I will do application and EMMA I don't know, I believe I will get same 500 because we not support it. But if I will do a JSON, I will get it. So headers have some very useful information. It's a service information. So it's not keeping any useful information, but it can keep information about format, for example, of the response. It can have like a lot, usually we're not using. We have few request headers which we really need to think about. But mostly we will ignore. This is automatically for the connection, like this connection keep alive, accepting code. We don't care about these headers. This is automatic created headers. Okay? So guys, let's understand, let's recap what we learned today. I will repeat it. This will help you guys understand your whole picture. Again, front end and back end. Modern applications consist of two parts, front end and back end. Front end can be different. It can be browser applications, it can be mobile applications for Android or iOS or whatever. It can be native applications for Windows, Linux or macOS. It can be whatever. But backend is only one. And this backend is receiving information from different frontends. But the part of the backend, not backend, just a wall. It cannot receive anything, but it has an API, web API, web application program interface, which can accept calls from the front end. So front end makes call to the backend in order to get some information. So front end makes call, front end may call to the endpoint. Endpoint consists from the URL and method. Every call consists of two parts, request and response. Request, we requesting information, response, we receiving response. So request and response consist of two parts, headers and body. Headers, response body. Request headers, request body. So headers usually keeping some service information. All useful information is in body, but body is optional part. Sometimes we don't have body. How we can request information? By three ways: by query parameters, query string, by path parameters, or by request body. How we can get response? By response body or by the status code. In very rare condition we can request information in header. This is not correct way. But sometimes I saw that sometimes we're sending some useful information in the headers. It's not very good way. It should be not in the headers. Questions? Not yet. So guys, Swagger. Swagger is one of possible kinds of the API documentation. This is very good kind because like you not only see the information how call is made. It's not only descriptions, but also you can try it just making a call. So you don't even need a postman. You can do any call just directly from the Swagger, and this is a very big advantage. You just making a call without any additional tools. Okay, guys, questions, please. By the way, I will place this video to my channel in open format. I just made especially for like it's kind of open lesson because I have a similar lesson in Russian, like it was recorded 3 years ago, but absolutely the same information. I even used slides from that presentation from 3 years ago. But guys, it will be on my channel in open access, so you can open it anytime. Questions, guys?
So a question, we should have in our resume the both tools, right? It's better to mention Swagger and Postman, or it doesn't matter?
Yes, but idea, yes, in resume you can have anything you want. Guys, we like three next lesson we will talk about Postman. We will spend enough time because the fact that Postman is the main tool in API testing. So mostly we will use Postman, but Swagger is kind of very good addition. It depends on company. In one company it could be or not. And for your homework, guys, what I want, guys, you go through all these API and test every call. So of course, usually, guys, you should start with the creation of the object. So over here, three different parts: pets, store, and user. So in the pet part, you're creating pet, updating pet, deleting pet, searching for pet, whatever with the pets. Same over here with the orders. You creating orders and you making all CRUD operations. I believe you don't have update over here. And here is users, you have the same stuff. So guys, I want you go through all this stuff and try to do this in the Swagger and in the Postman. This is, guys, if you will do this one time, you will understand how API works. What my main purpose is understanding. Guys, if you clearly understand this, programming API is very simple. My main point today, you should understand this. It's very simple. Actually, you can see everything in Chrome Development Tools. You don't even need Postman, but Postman you need for testing. If you testing a new endpoint which has not integrated with the frontend yet, Postman's the only tool. But if it's already integrated and you just do some researches, you even don't need a Postman. You can open Chrome Development Tools Network tab and you can see everything there. Okay? Guys, don't worry. Everything is very simple, I hope. And again, please spend 2 hours with this Swagger. After that, you will be like, it will be very simple. 2 hours you need to invest to this stuff. Try to do this using Swagger and Postman. Just go through every call, make one call in the Postman, receive response, like create in the Postman, get in the Swagger, update in Postman, delete in Swagger, just swap, change, try it. It's worth. Like, you will understand how good is it. Because like this is, guys, a main thing we should understand. So on next lesson we will go through the Postman, and after that we will go through the automation. We will write automation in the Postman using JavaScript. I know you did it on the manual course, but we will do it in a more advanced way, because here is, I believe you will get more understanding, and we will go through it. So guys, any questions regarding today's topic about API, about web applications, about front-end, back-end, about endpoints, about request response, query, path parameters, headers, bodies? Any questions, please? So guys, if there are no questions, see you tomorrow, and bye bye.